those of you who might not know, today is World Mental Health Day. You might have seen some posters out. So I really wanted to focus on sleep as well as mental health, so we can cover the links between the two and what you can do about improving your sleep and therefore improving your mental health as well. So we'll cover lots of different things. Sleep is something that we all know we need, and we get told that we need about sort of 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night to be able to feel properly rested and recharged. But obviously that varies with age as well. So when we're younger, we need more sleep, and then we go into adulthood, and that's the sort of 7 and 9 hours, that's approximately. Later age can change as well. And also, you probably noticed as well, when you have some certain things going on in your life, you're a little bit more tired and you kind of crave more sleep. And generally that can be linked to different types of tiredness. So it could be physical tiredness that can trigger sort of this increased need for sleep. The second one is mental tiredness, when you might have had a really stressful or pressurizing day and you just feel really, really tired. But it's more mental because it's not that you physically worked out. And then the third one that I often talk about is emotional tiredness, when we might have had a day when we just experienced lots of different emotions. That could also be sort of linked to stress, because even stress, when we're stressed, it generally gets triggered by different emotions. So you might be frustrated, angry, feeling that you could have done better, maybe you made a mistake, those kind of things. And stress can link to directly to those emotions. So when I work with clients, we look at 24 hours rather than just focusing on sleep itself, because our sleep is guided by all those other things that we do during the day. So let's pause again for a little bit and think about what you would like your sleep to be. Is there something where you can progress to, or you're pretty happy with it? So what would great sleep mean to you personally? When you know what you need and how you get the best quality, then you can actually start putting all those different things in place to make it happen. And when I talk about sleep, I talk about practicalities, talk about the skill of sleeping, all those different things we need around it to guarantee that good sleep every night, or at least most nights. And I think this is another thing as well. Of course, we all struggle with sleep sometimes. It happens. It's not necessarily a perfection, but how can we actually get back to our normal and enjoy that quality sleep most of the nights, even if you have the 1 or 2 odd night every so often. If you don't have enough sleep, it will start to impact your body, whether or not that's physical symptoms, whether or not you're not being able to handle your emotions as well. So those could be the emotional side, or the mental side, which is, your cognitive abilities, your ability to be able to make decisions, to be able to clear, focus, concentration, all those different things. And I'm sure we all experienced the night when we didn't sleep well and we woke up in the morning and we were just not quite that with it, the brain fog we sometimes refer to. And I experienced that too, but it's how we can assure good sleep. So some of the health problems that are now linked to sleep deprivation and not enough quality sleep is definitely cognitive performance. The brain isn't able to process as much as fast when we don't have as much sleep. There are links to potentially diabetes risk increasing if the sleep continuously for years and years and years isn't really that great. Certain links to heart disease, putting on weight or obesity, high blood pressure, some links to cancer. But I think all of these ones are linked to sleep, but we're still exploring what those links are. Whether or not it's the lack of sleep that impacts our physical body, that then not able to handle all the things that we have, whether or not it's the stress element or the mental element. So today we'll explore a little bit more on the mental side, which is the anxiety and depression. Because when we continuously have not so good quality sleep, our mood is the first to generally change. We feel more low, we're not able to have as much energy to enjoy the things we do. We might say no to things because we don't have the actual energy to go out and socialize with our friends and so on. Okay, so let's look at sleep problems. There could be lifestyle related, and they could be actual medical problems. So some of the medical problems could be breathing disorders. This is when somebody would stop breathing at night for a couple of seconds. It's called sleep apnea, for example. There are other, like I mentioned, there are 64 different sleep disorders that require medical treatment. So I think one of the things that I would like you to do, if you do, either you're concerned about someone or you do struggle with it for a long period of time, just seek help. Because, you know, looking for answers perhaps on the internet or, you know, even in the library might not give you that diagnosis, right? We talked about insomnia and sleep deprivation. Other sleep problems can be linked to lifestyle things. So for example, shift work. Shift work is definitely triggers some of those sleep problems because the person is not able to honor their natural sleep behaviors. Long shifts, working for a longer period of time. You know, you can think about like train drivers, nurses, those kind of professions when they might not work every single day, but they have longer shifts. Technology is definitely impacting our sleep. More so in sort of the younger generation who is now so used to using their technology anywhere and everywhere. But I think sometimes we can be we can take a phone in the bedroom and suddenly we're browsing instead of sleeping. I don't know if any of you relate to that. Another one is fast-paced life. You know, our life has fast-forwarded so much. Before we used to just get letters. Now, if you use an email, you get a ping every couple of minutes, and it can be quite overwhelming for people. And it just creates a little bit of stress element. But one of the biggest parts I see is the habits, behavioral habits that we have now either not developed or we changed because all the other things, either pressures, stresses, extended working hours. And that's the area that I work with mainly. It's the behavioral elements of sleep. So mental health is definitely impacted by sleep. Have you had any kind of experience with that? How sleep can sort of make you feel different mentally? Okay. So one of the first ones that I see is the tiredness affecting our mental abilities. So that's normally the first one we notice. Even if the sleep problem hasn't been for a long period of time. Even if we had a couple of nights of not so good sleep in a row, we can really feel that mentally. You know, often it's, where did I leave my keys exactly? You know, or not remembering when we put things down, or looking for something that we thought we put in one place, but actually we didn't. And how our brain is able to really be prepared and able to remember all those different things that we have. Again, this is one of the examples from client work where, you know, writing lists, but then not remembering things, but only remembering them at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, oh yeah, I did not put that on the list, but I must remember that. But if you think about it, even when we sleep, our brain doesn't switch off. It's processing. One of the functions at night is the body's processing all the things that happen to us during the day, whether or not it's physically, mentally, and so on. So that's very much a link between mental health and sleep. And mental abilities, how much we can actually handle mentally, remember, and so on. The 3 ways that I mentioned before, just quickly go through that again. So first of all, sleep and our physical health will also impact our mental health, the tiredness, the quality of sleep. The second one is sleep and emotional health will also impact our mental health. We can't ignore the links between those. You know, when we feel more emotional, potentially because we might be more tired, our mental abilities aren't going to be there either. This is where we can experience disagreements, and we think the person said one thing, but actually if you ask them and they'll explain it, they meant something different, but it feels like that because we're emotionally more tired. We're not perhaps listening to the right words that they have said. And I think this is where some of the times communication can really help. Just explaining what we've meant, because the other person might not know completely. And the next one is how sleep and our mental health can create a longer term ability for our brain to function well. So a lot of the work that I do, we look at the behavioral side, but then how can we train our brain to then help our body to do the right things? So we mentioned switching off. We need to train our brain to be able to switch off. It might not know how to do that, but once we're able to help our brain to do that, then we're able to rest. Therefore, the next day our mental capacity can be better.